Good evening. This is the Athens City Shade Tree Commission meeting for September 10th, 2015. We have no Title 33 right-of-way or public land issues, so we'll move ahead. We have two landscape ordinance issues, and I'd like to invite the representative from RVC up to the podium to introduce yourself and the project.
Good evening. My name is David Moran. I work for RVC Architects, and I'm here to present the combination. It's Charles Place apartment complex and the Euclid office building. They are they abut to each other. So as you can see on the drawings, the Integrated Services, which is the owner of these two buildings, on Graham Avenue, they started sort of a style of landscaping with their tree, ornamental grasses, and shrubbery. And we've continued that in MacArthur and other places that they developed their facilities at. So we sort of established tree types and mixtures that we did over on Graham Avenue at 10 and 11, and we're hoping to continue that on Charles Place and Euclid Drive. I've got some larger drawings which I'd like to give to you guys so that they're a little bit easier to see than the little drawings that you have now.
I'll share one with you.
Yeah, I have 5 of them, but I probably should keep one. You guys can pass the other 4 around.
Okay.
Thank you. That helps a lot.
Okay. So it's not properly.
So up above the tree details we're showing from our calculations that we have figured from permeable and impermeable surfaces were the numbers that we came up with for Charles Place. According to our calculations, we need that 12 trees are retired for that site, are required for Charles Place, and on the 4 Euclid site, which is a much smaller site, 4 trees are required.
Okay. Now these are large shade trees.
Yeah, the calculations are large shade, but we then have combinations of several of the oaks and sugar maples, and then we have the smaller different trees where we accommodate the numbers were the 3 to 1. And in the old days we used to we have a whole series of the shrubs, which I forget, is that maybe 5 to 1 or some modular?
No. We typically we require large shade trees. 2 mediums make up one large,
okay.
And we permit 3 small when the site is constrained in some way, particularly for utility cables.
Right.
Then we would allow 3 small ones to substitute for 1 large shade tree.
Right.
So those are the basic rules that we've got. And so shrubs, we don't mind what you plant. We prefer you not to plant anything invasive.
Right.
And we sometimes warn you about deer-sensitive plants and so on that
correct.
We might recommend against, but it's up to you. And at the end of the day, it's your plantings.
Right.
I mean, we don't prescribe what you have to plant. We can make some suggestions against.
We're required 16 total trees, large trees,
Mm-hmm.
and from our calculations, we have 26. Whether you consider all of them large, medium, or the combination of the 2 to 1 or what?
Redbud's a medium, or
Redbud is small.
Small, so that would be 6 right there.
Well, let's just add up the large shade trees. We've got as we come down here, we've got the sugar maples. There's 2 of them, and then there's a white oak. That's 3. I don't think it's the blue spruce.
Is that a medium or
It might be a medium, but yeah.
The blue spruce can get as tall as 60 feet. It just doesn't have a spread as far, but it's a beautiful color combination.
It's a rather slow growing one as well.
Yes, it's a slow growing, but it's still a large specimen.
It's a great tree.
So looking at that, I don't think, given the species you've got there, that you're meeting the requirements.
And because.
Well, we would, unless and I don't recall there being a constraint on this site requiring small shade trees or small trees, that we would look for compliance if you've got sufficient large shade trees. It will be 16, 12 and 4. And then if you didn't do it with large ones, you could do it with 2 mediums for each large, but that would mean 24 and 8, I guess. And as I say, we don't normally count the small shade trees unless there is a constraint on the site, and I don't recall there being a constraint on this particular site. So what we're looking for.
So the Colorado spruce, you're saying is I need 2 to 1 for that one.
Yeah.
So I've got 10 of those, so that's 5 trees.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
And you're not.
The Cercis canadensis is a small tree.
And so how many does that take to make 1 tree?
3, but as I say, we would normally only include those if there's a constraint on the site in terms of particularly high voltage cables.
As opposed to making the site look beautiful.
We're looking for shade. We're trying to get as much shade as we can out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We think oak trees and maple trees are beautiful.
And I agree, but I like to see different volumes. I like to see different leaf size. I like coloring, the shapes themselves. And I think that whole combination, is a more natural looking landscape than just.
I think that's a good criteria. But we have quite a few large and medium size to choose from.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all up there. It's not as much for the viewing systems, and it gives a different scale to move through those spaces. I mean, that's how I see landscaping, as opposed to just walking under a total canopy. That's the restriction.
Well, medium and large.
So if
got
you have
2 there.
5 plus 3, that's 8, and then 6 there, that would be 14.
It's getting close. Yeah. But I mean,
So I have to convert to
the large shade trees you've got. I'm looking at to see where they're located, and I see them on this sort of centerpiece that divides 5 Charles away from 6 Euclid Drive, and that seems to be where you're putting your 3 large shade trees. And I'm sort of surprised you wouldn't want to put more large shade trees along this southern edge where you could get more shade on your parking lot, for instance.
Well, we wanted to still have it as an open viewing system from East State to see the dwelling, and not totally make a hedge line out of it.
Well,
you could probably get a couple right along Charles Street at the rear between 5 and 9. You probably can convert and put a couple of shade trees in there, and you'll get pretty close.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we try not to put them too close to where the curb cut is, because then it starts to it obstructs the view as you're pulling out into the street. But I'll put them there.
Yeah.
I've got no trouble. You tell me where you want the trees.
Well, I don't think that's what we necessarily do. We don't want to necessarily landscape the site, but we are the Shade Tree Commission. We would like to get large shade trees.
Yeah.
We're not uncomfortable with the idea of you putting in smaller trees, shrubs, and other things to make a more complete landscape, but we want to make sure that we get the required shade trees. Unless, again, there's some constraint that won't let us do that, and then we're willing to discuss that with you.
Yeah.
Well, so on that spot that you just pointed out, I can add 1 right there. So I'm one tree short at that point.
Maybe, I think. It was a quick calculation.
That would be my calculation.
Yeah.
There would just be
That's
1 more
15,
large.
so I need
Yeah.
1 more large. How about in that backyard, instead of 3, I have 4 trees?
Yeah, the spacing looks quite
Yeah.
significant.
Yeah, it looks like you can do that without a lot of trouble.
Okay.
Because long term, if you want those, I mean, they're not very long-lived trees anyway. The Cercis canadensis. They are also forest fringe trees, and they like to have some shade around them, some protection. So there's no reason why you can't cluster those closer to large shade trees.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
The other one that is a little bit small is the Amelanchier. I know you've got 10 to 12 feet there, but actually getting them to 12 feet in this area is not easy. It can be done. But anyway, I will write this up as requiring 12 large shade trees for the one site and 4 large shade trees for the other. And that...
It looks like you're pretty close, and
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
a few minor adjustments, you're there.
Right.
In terms of other requirements, we're supposed to check on things like dumpster screening and so on. Are there any dumpsters to be screened on these sites?
It's in there.
It's in there.
It's in there? Okay.
Yeah.
If John says it's in there, I'm happy
Yeah.
with that. It is one of the things that
Well,
we're
it's
supposed
part
to
of
check
Title
on.
41, so
Yeah.
Yep.
it's in
Okay. Good. Yeah. Yeah.
There's the one behind 4.
Are there any other questions?
Nope.
From the Commission? Okay then, if there's no objections then we'll approve this one, and as I say, I'll write it up and send the code director a note of what it is
And I'll make
that,
these changes and get it down to John.
that we've discussed, yeah. Okay,
All
thank
right,
you.
great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, David.
Just want to slide that off over there. Do you like to come up and give us your name and who you're representing?
My name is Jim Thomas, and I'm with BDT Architects, and the project is for Christ Lutheran Church on Mill Street. They have about 3 properties there, but this property they tore down some old homes and putting up an apartment building. And so I have one set. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong package when I left the office.
If you can put it in the middle here, then John will look after it for me. I've got a small one that I printed off.
I actually looked at this one from the email. I didn't manage to see that one.
So based on our calculations for the permeable and impermeable spaces, we came up with a requirement for 10 large trees, that's what we proposed.
Yep.
We basically 2 of each of 4 different types. Or,
Well, two, four,
5.
two. I think.
yeah, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah.
I can't read this.
Yeah.
little
Do you see me over here going?
Yeah, you've got 2 Acer Freemaniis, 4 black gum, 2 American linden, and 2 little leaf linden, and those are all large shade trees.
Okay.
And so, to my mind, that is in compliance with what we need. And it's up to you to decide where you're going to plant them. The only issue I saw was that you've got high voltage cables on the southern boundary, and right on it's on one side of the road away from you at one point, but then it transitions across the road, and you need to try and keep about 30 feet away from those cables when you're planting a large shade tree. That's all. Otherwise, AEP are going to come in and give it a shave, and so that was the only constraint I saw when I went down there.
I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
Would the black gum be a concern on a property where it's a rental and having the gum balls in the fall? I'm just wondering about upkeep for presumably a student rental.
Right.
It's up to the owner. I mean, yes, it's a concern sometimes that trees like that it can be a nuisance, but again,
Nice trees, though.
Yeah, it's
they're very nice trees.
Yeah.
Right.
And certainly, if you can position them in a place where they're not going to be a nuisance, then we definitely
Well, here's
encourage
one by
that
the
one.
dumpster.
Unlike most rentals, the owner also was on site.
Yes,
With
yeah.
the church being right next door.
Yeah. Any other questions? If not, I think this one's a straightforward one, John. Is there anything else you've seen here that we need to discuss?
I won't even comment on it.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I wish they were all so simple.
Well, if you've noticed, I think they're getting pretty good at understanding because they're doing their own little breakdowns and make it easy for you guys to do.
Yeah, they're doing the math for us.
Doing the math for you and for me.
Yeah.
See ya.
I was expecting an email from Ron Lucas with a report, but I haven't received anything. I would note at our next meeting we will put on the agenda full planting discussion, so that we make sure we get that discussed. I don't have any other items for us tonight. There are the minutes from the last meeting to approve, unless anyone's got anything else they want to raise. Okay, well, if you can just review the minutes. I attached the email that I sent to the code director about the two properties we dealt, well, the Union Street properties plus the BP apartments.
And you got my comments back on those. With Lambourne's, Union Street, and I brought this up with Ron, that I do have my concerns with the size of the pits and the width of the sidewalk for accessibility.
Yep, and we made it clear that if they couldn't comply, then they would have to buy trees.
Okay.
And we basically said that we can see constraints here.
Yeah.
If you can overcome them by planting in the front there, that's fine. That'd be good. But if they can't, then they're going to have to buy trees.
Okay.
Yeah, they need about 5 feet of depth.
Yeah.
And you don't often have that.
Those, Court Street does, but the side streets going off of it do not have. Court Street's got 14-foot wide sidewalks. The other streets are about 11.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take out 5 foot, and if those buildings have any permits for their chairs and tables or benches out front.
Now this is
reduces
5
it.
foot deep. Not
Well, I meant the
Oh, the-
current
the-
squares are
Yes.
4 by
yeah,
4 or 5
yes.
by 5 as well.
Yeah,
So
right, that's right.
that limits your
Yeah.
sidewalk passing area to about 3 foot if they happen to have
Yeah.
chairs or tables, and that becomes a real accessibility issue then.
I move that we accept the minutes of the July 9th meeting as presented.
I'll second that.
Thank you, David. Thank you, John. Are there any objections to us approving the minutes of the July meeting? If not, we have minutes. Our next meeting is, I believe, the 8th of October, 7 p.m. in the council chamber. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.